Welcome, everyone. Today, I volunteered to share some resources in Outlook that could increase some efficiency or maybe help you understand why certain things might be expected from different staff. As a college, I don't know that we consistently use Outlook the same way, but in the new Art and Technology building, there will be a training room. So that training room will allow some more in-person opportunities for different software and hardware features. So we are looking forward to an improved professional development strategy, and then possibly some more consistency to make sure that we're using the tools the best way that we can. My point with Outlook is that it builds our community on campus, and it's really that communication tool. It's not as much about students. That's kind of really Canvas. Canvas can kind of be its own little product. How you choose to use email with students is really up to you. My focus is how does it help Dan do his job better? How does it help Amanda get in touch with a different dean? How does it help admissions set up a campus visit? Just some of those efficiency tools that just help us all be more efficient. The hardest thing for me to do in Outlook is set up a meeting, because the meeting assumes everyone's calendar is up to date. If everybody's calendar is up to date, it's like one click. When it's not, as you know, it's 75 emails, and that sucks. Oops, shouldn't have said that in recording. I should probably also turn on my closed caption. Okay, now we can get that ready to go. Perfect. So to get started, I'm going to have you guys open up the chat. And in the chat, we're going to do a chat bomb. And a chat bomb is you're all going to type some answers, and then when I say go, you're all going to hit enter. So in the chat, I just want you to type the things you do in Outlook already. Obviously, you all send an email. You can type that in there. Things you do in Outlook already. You're going to type that list up. I don't care what vocabulary you use. I don't care if it's your own tool. What do you already do? I'll give you a minute or two, and then we'll just all press enter at the same time. And then we'll kind of go through what you already do. There's no sense me repeating. Things you already do in Outlook. And as a reminder, that's an email tool, a calendar tool. There's a task tool. Or maybe it's called a to-do list. I'm also not judging or evaluating, just an assessment. What do you do in Outlook already, online or installed? Amanda's already took the plunge, so if you're all ready, go ahead and press enter. That's okay.
Just a habit when I'm typing to hit enter, so.
It's perfect. And thank you for being honest, Rochelle. All right, I'm going to go back and capture these so I don't lose them. Okay, so some things you already use in Outlook. Obviously, email. You look at meetings and use the calendar. And because you're all full-time faculty, you understand that that is kind of the requirement right now. We don't have it fully integrated with self-service, but it's on our wish list. So eventually, hopefully, those two things talk. Looking at schedules for other staff and then planning the week. Good. Looks like Tim searches for emails. I spend a lot of time searching myself, so that's good. And Rochelle just tries to avoid it at all possible, which is very fair. Again, I don't know that we're using the tool to help ourselves with efficiency. And Tim, I can kind of circle back to your organization thing that you mentioned earlier. Email is one of my least, well, my desk is maybe a mess too, but email is not necessarily an effective organization tool. It can really get the better of all of us. So hopefully today, I can just show you a few things that might help. What I know about organization, if you think of a filing cabinet, we would all take the same 85 files and sort them differently and organize them differently. We would group them differently. So organization is very personal. So you have to figure out what makes sense to you. And kind of like the course syllabus, what you do one time, you realize didn't work as well as you hoped, and you come up with a new plan next time. So I have a list of some new things. And I didn't expect these to necessarily pop up in your lists because maybe they don't affect you necessarily at the same way that they do me. What I thought I would do is kind of assess, do we need to talk about automatic replies? I can go through the list. If you want us to go through them, if one person wants it, they seriously only take a minute or two to show you. Everything I'm going to show you today, though, is on the installed version of Outlook. I understand you might go to the link in Triton Pass, sign in with your phone. The installed version is the same but different, just like every app, right? The installed version does allow you to keep it open all the time on your device. So it can be open all day. That can be a blessing and a curse. We can talk about that. With the online one, as you know, you have to sign in and use your double sign-on every time. There's no workaround for that. I find that to be inefficient, but I'm in my email differently than each of you are. It might help you be efficient because you're not in email all the time as well, because we'll talk about the kind of managing time and a recommended strategy. So automatic replies. We're fresh off of break. Hopefully you had an automatic reply set up, unless you were actively checking email. That's the whole purpose of the automatic reply, is to communicate internally only, or internal and external, that you're not going to be responding to email for a period of time. Probably not Friday and Saturday and Sunday, but like 2 weeks we've been in for break. What's your plan over spring break? What is your strategy when you leave for summer? So I'll talk specifically in terms of faculty strategy, since again, the 4 of you are faculty. If I'm going to be gone for a mid-semester break, vacation, or conference, I also redirect people who to contact in my absence. So if you've ever gotten an auto reply from me, I will say, please contact Jill Lichtai or Haley Taylor. Because sometimes people need to know, oh shoot, Jennifer's not here, who can I go to? And as faculty, if you are out and unable to respond to email, auto reply, you could then redirect that to a dean. Amanda, maybe you redirect that to Jody. Kind of whoever you think can back you up. We're just trying to get responses out. Internal, external, it doesn't matter. Any other information about the automatic setup that you want to see? Or thumbs up that you're all okay. And it's okay if you're not okay. All right, delay send. This morning you got an email from Iowa Central Professional Development. That is actually an account that I get to take care of. And I had a delay send on that email. I wrote that email before we left on the snow day. This morning when I logged into installed version of Outlook, it sent that email for me. So as you have emails you want to plan for students, these are things that you want to like check off your list. Maybe every Monday you want to send them a summary of the week, or a progress report, a reminder of a due date, field trip reminder. Sometimes it's easy to draft that email when you're thinking of it. And in email, I should ask, do you want to see how to delay a send? Okay, perfect.
Yes, I would like to. Jennifer, you mentioned that when you logged in to your Outlook, that's when the email was sent, do you have to like reawaken it for the email to send?
Well, I thought it would have gone when I was checking Outlook on my phone, because that's how I was checking email over break, and it did not send until I came into the office this morning and opened up the installed version. I don't know if it works for the web version, because I just don't use that. So in my defense, I don't know if it works with the web version. I just know you get timed out of that so easy. I don't know about waking it up, I guess.
It's like if you're going to delay an email, usually it's because, well, for me, it's because I'm busy during that time.
Mhm.
So if I don't open my email, will it still
Right.
send?
Well, it must not, because mine did not.
Okay.
I think mine was actually supposed to go out Monday morning. I think I meant to log into my Outlook that day, and then I decided not to because I was fresh off of a car ride. All right, let me just do a practice one with you. Remove my reminder post-it note here. You can still see my email screen, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so new email. I'll just send it to you guys. Oops, I should probably slide it back over. So again, installed version, I'm just going to keep saying that because it will do it in the other one. It's just going to look differently. Let me do my option. So I'm in the options tab. I have the email open in a pop-up window. I'm in my option tab and I have a delayed delivery. The only thing I modify in the delay delivery is do not deliver before. So I'll put in a time here. I'll pick 11. So it's not going to deliver before 11 a.m. I'm going to save a copy of my sent message. That's really all I have to do because I already have you all in it. So again, it's not going to deliver before a certain day and time. Like if I want to send an email right away in the morning, I'm better off to delay it. And then when I come in and start things up, it just sends on my behalf. All I have to do is close. And I just hit send. That's the weirdest part for me because I physically hit send. And what I can show you is in the outbox, there's a message and it's just waiting for 11 a.m. So because my Outlook will be open, I'm assuming you will all get it at 11 a.m. So we'll have a test run for you. I should have done 10:45, I suppose. But again, just a new email option. And then there's a delay delivery. If you're lucky enough to plan for the whole week, you could set up a few things. Again, for your students, remind them, maybe something for your department as a reminder. Shoot, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to just tell you one more time. We know how students like forget and show up for class, even though you've already announced some things. Also good to maybe copy your dean on it or other people. So you just hit send and then it will take care of it whenever you're logged back in. So that could be kind of a snafu for you. So think about that. If you want to practice with the online version, I would recommend you can practice with me if you want to. No big deal. I find it very helpful. But not frequently. That's like a twice a month kind of thing that I do. The schedule assistant is possibly my favorite. Thumbs up, do you use this ever? All right. So if you have to set up a meeting with 2 people, this is what you want to do. I set up a lot of meetings. I'm just gonna go to my calendar feature. I'm gonna set up another meeting this afternoon. Nope, let me pick. Well, I won't know whose calendar. It doesn't matter. Here, I'll come over here. All right, I'll set up one in that little block there. So just new appointment. My new appointment window pops up. Sorry, that's kind of busy. Practice schedule. I'm going to invite you guys again. And Stacy, because her calendar will be full. I want to find a time that we can meet. And I'm going to use the schedule assistant at the top. The schedule assistant will show all of us in the list, and it will fill in the days and times that we are available. I'm going to maximize this just so we get another feature for you. If your calendar is public, which it should be, everyone on campus should be able to see what your business is. You also have a private feature if you want to make something private. So in this case, I don't know what Dan is doing because I can't see his individual appointments. So I'll work with Dan to make his calendar public to the organization. I can see that, oh, a bunch of us are here in this meeting. Can I go here? Oh, no, that's not going to be good either. I can go out as far as I want to try to find a day and time that all of us would be available. Very important with your faculty schedules. And what I would encourage you to do, again, as we get better with the schedule tool and the faculty calendar, is realistically only your classes should be busy and unavailable for a meeting. Your office hour, your on-campus time is really open for a meeting. And so you can actually make a block of time free, which will just tell the person that, oh, even though Rochelle's in class at this point, you know, maybe she's free at this time because it's an office hour. And this is, especially if you're on a shared governance council where you have 20 people, if your dean ever gets on you about your calendar and how important it is, this is the number one go-to reason. I don't know when I can meet. If Tim and I have to meet with Krista and set up new furniture for the chemistry lab in Storm Lake, I need to know quickly how to get a hold of everybody and how soon we can meet, if like in the next 30 minutes or an hour. So the better your tool is, if you know you have a personal appointment in the afternoon, even though it's not your scheduled time, I really encourage you to kind of put like yourself private, unavailable. Because we are available outside of our work hours for some kind of a meeting. So even if you don't have an office hour or availability time, if the only time open is 4 o'clock, that's what I'm going to go to for my group. So, you know, if you do have some things like that pop up randomly, if they're on there, that does help people who set up meetings. It's best tool ever. So, I use this with Dr. Menser all the time. Her and I looking, yep, I can meet today. Okay. I just pop her name in. I go to schedule assistant and I find the time that works for both of us. And again, I'll go back to Dan's schedule. If you're ever on any, but I'm back to December. Geez, Louise, Jennifer. January, pardon me. If you're ever looking for somebody's calendar and it is blued out, that means there's a setting on your own account that you have to adjust. It does not automatically set it up. It's frustrating for me. I feel like they should be set up automatically, but you do have to manually do that, and you have to make it public for your whole institution. And I can help with that if you would like. But yeah, anytime you kind of set up, is it free? Eventually you'd be able to add a room, like you could add a Zoom room. Eventually, if we get this built into our system, maybe it can help with some room reservations. So again, the more we use it, the more things it maybe could save time on for us. So auto pick is a tool. It will find the next time we're all available. Again, if you're dealing with 25 people in a list and you see all these things and you have to read through, auto pick the required people. And it says we can meet on Monday at noon. I might not want to meet at noon, but at least it can help find a time. Obviously, it looks like we could have maybe met at 11, but it didn't put us back to back. So it must have some features in it that makes it look for not back to back and some of those things. So very helpful, dependent on your settings for your current appointments. So just keep that in mind. All right. I'll just cancel this one. We don't need to meet. Nope. So I do think schedule assistant is the bomb. And it's probably why I insist people get their calendars in Outlook as soon as they can, especially with shared governance. So speaking of the shared calendar, this is on here for two reasons. Number one, to make it public for the organization. Number two, you can also give someone else permission to help with your calendar. Jill Lichtai has permission to put things on my calendar and to create them on my calendar. So when you share your calendar, you kind of give people some additional responsibility. For example, Rochelle, who's still doing the photography campus visits? Is it Tori?
Mostly Tori. Eric will do some every once in a while too.
Okay.
And then Jordan.
So Rochelle could give them permission to put a student visit right on her calendar. They could also put it on theirs and invite her like to a meeting. But the sharing the calendar gives a responsibility that Jill can actually just go to my calendar and put a meeting on there with a student for me. Those kinds of things. And also
So Jennifer,
again, the visibility.
sorry.
Yeah.
Do we give them access? Do we personally give them access individually? for
You're
each
giving them
person?
permission.
Okay,
Access, they should be able to see your calendar ideally already. It's more about the permission that they can just put it right on your calendar and not send
okay.
you an invite, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And I don't think we do this again very well. I'm always like, Stacy, Emily can do this for you. Oh, it's okay, you know, but delegating this is hard. So I'm in my calendar feature. I'm going to share it. I'm sharing I have several calendars, so pardon. In here, as you can see, I should probably take Justin off my, I probably shouldn't let him be on my calendar anymore. This is where the organization needs to be added. So when we can't see what Dan has going on and we're being nosy, Dan needs to add the organization. And he just wants us to be able to see the details that are on there. So we know if it's office hour or not. Jill can edit my calendar. So she physically can open my calendar and do stuff on there. Family emergency, I'm not going to be here for 3 days. Jill can go to my calendar, contact all those meeting people, and work to reschedule them on my behalf. She can just do that. That's what the edit means. The deans, Jeff can view when I'm busy. Okay. I think I'll just take Jeff off because Jeff can already see when I'm busy. So let me think where you add permissions. So I'm just going to add a permission. And here it is. I can look up people. I can look up all sorts of stuff here. So again, if Jill needs to do something on your behalf, it doesn't happen very often, but that's how that works. So
and sorry, what you clicked on before that was share calendar?
Yep, let me cancel.
Okay,
So
share.
yep, there's an option.
Okay. Yep, got
And
that.
I have a couple, some people set up several calendars on their side, like they might set up a class calendar or whatever. So mine's just my primary calendar. I only have one in here. And hopefully my organization can view all details. That's what everybody should see on theirs all the time. So if you can help a friend out and you see a calendar that's not visible, this is the setting for that. And if I need to figure out a different way to get that on there, I will do that. Mine's been on there for so long, I don't remember. Obviously, Dr. Ulrich's email is not visible by everybody, but you can see when he's busy. So there are people, if I'm going to be at the dentist next week or something, I just create the appointment and you can make it private. And so then it stays blued out for people. So it's not that everything has to be visible. It's just knowing really for faculty, am I in my office? Am I in class? Am I in an availability hour? That's just very helpful, I think. I don't know that you need to add calendars for other people unless you want a quick reference. So over on my left-hand side, you'll see that I have lots of people's calendars. So I'm just going to jump to Neil's calendar. I want to see what he has going on. if I share the calendar, it's just right here and it pops up and I can see it just like, so if you want to see your dean's calendar, know what's going on, or somebody that can help you, this quick list does make it very easy. Oftentimes Jill will have her calendar open, Haley's and mine. So she can see what we all have going on today. And again, that's just to help us be more efficient when somebody's looking for one of us. She knows where we're out. She can come down and remind me, Jennifer, you have a meeting. Why are you still in your office? That's helpful too. So sharing does allow you to have a quick search down on the side. So that's that physical share. You can just see everything, kind of a deal. But I do let Jill edit mine. Any questions on sharing? Any more questions? Because we seem to have adopted Zoom as our primary video conference call tool, you can have that built into your calendar and one click and you'll automatically have a Zoom meeting. So if you are more likely to use your calendar and want to Zoom with the students or an advisory board or colleagues, I would encourage you to put the add-in there. It looks like this. I'll create a meeting. I'll do tomorrow morning, Zoom. I can just create the meeting, pop it open, and mine looks like a plus, add a Zoom meeting. Rochelle, I'm going to use your example for a little while because at some point, I think in your online account, you were automatically adding a Teams meeting because that's a setting, right?
Right.
So when you created meetings, there was like an automatically created a team meeting, which is another video conference tool. We tend to not use Teams as much. I don't know which way we're going. I feel like Teams is free, but you know, we do what we do. So I just have to click add a Zoom meeting and it puts everything in the calendar invite for me and sends it to whoever I send it to. The weird thing about that is if I move this meeting, it still pretends like it was at the original time. It doesn't necessarily talk back and forth really well. My guess is that will get better. So if I move this, it's probably still going to have the same day and time and kind of remind me at the wrong time. But it does save me from having to log into Zoom, create it there, put it on my calendar, copy and paste, and do some of those things. So it is an add-on. And add-on is under File. File. Let me close this. No. File, manage. Oh, sorry, add in, not add on. And I think in your Zoom account, you can also tell it to talk to Outlook as well. I'm probably going to log in. Oh, it remembered for me. I can search all these add-ins and there is Zoom for Outlook. And technically I already have mine in. So an add-in is just another product you might use. Maybe use Calendly, it has an add-in. You can kind of build that into your calendar. All of these, there's so many, it's like crazy. I don't even know what these all are, but FedEx tracking, I suppose that would be helpful if I shipped stuff. I've heard of Boomerang, but I've never used it. I feel like it kind of corrals everything in one place for you, but I don't know. I probably should add some more emojis so that people think I'm laughing more, smiling more. But all these are just open and ready for you to add. But I would recommend adding Zoom just because it does seem like we use it a fair amount, but I might use it differently than you do. So. And I'm not even sharing my screen. I'm so sorry. I slid this off to the other side because I am now on a website. All right, people, you can tell me you can't see my stuff.
I can see it.
You can see this?
Like where your mailbox settings and, oh no, I can't see that.
I was on this.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry. When I went to the add-ins, I had to log into the web portal.
Add-ins, web portal. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then here they are. Sorry. Just because I have 3 screens, I can't assume you can see on mine. But there are a lot of add-ins. and I can't even tell you what they all do, but Zoom is the one I would recommend. I better minimize that. So now I'll have email coming from everywhere. All right, back to my list because we're getting short. Groups. All right, I've been asking Jill to create distribution lists for me for a long time. And by default, she'll go to group, which makes total sense. And I'm always like, no, Jill, I don't want a group. I want a distribution list because I'm old school and I've been emailing way too long. But here is a group. And here's where I think a good place for us to go.
Thanks for the email. It came at 11.
Perfect. Whew, thank God it worked, right? Otherwise, you'll be going, liar, liar, Jennifer. All right, let me go to my group thing. Go into people, contacts. I have lots of distribution lists and I have a few groups. So there'll be a new contact and there'll be a new group. A group is kind of like a team, kind of like a distribution list, but you can kind of set them up however you want. And they automatically get their own email account, if that makes sense. And it also corrals it for you, so you don't have to keep track of everybody individually. Let me show you a few that I have. Why am I stuck in here? Let me go to email. All right, so on the left-hand side under groups, again, installed version, I know you see groups in the online version. Here are my liberal arts full-time spring 2022 people. Anybody who emailed this, these are the emails that went to that group. So photography advisory board, Rochelle has a group. Not sure why we're getting some Bitcoin information, but apparently we got spammed. Unread. Oh, that's weird. It looks like I should have 3 emails in there. Here are from the liberal arts adjuncts from 1819. I'm getting maybe 37 is the active people. Maybe that's what that is. That makes more sense than unread emails. Obviously, I don't use these a lot. Study abroad for 23. These are from Jennifer Dutcher. She has all the students and me in our list, and she emails us information as we need it. To set up a group, can you think of a reason why you'd want a group?
Well, I'm almost wondering, you know, at the beginning of each semester, creating a group for the students in that specific course. So I don't have to keep going back to self-service and copying all of that. I mean, would that?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And to maintain it isn't that bad either, because you kind of just add people and remove them. So let me go back to my contacts. I'm going to do a new group. Winter T4T. Notice it creates a group email address. So if you're going to name it by a class, by a group, freshmen, sophomores, I can describe it. Only approved members can see what's inside, so you probably want to keep them private. What am I doing? Send all groups. This is more settings. Oh, must not. Okay. Anybody? You suppose it's already been taken?
Maybe.
I mean, that does happen. I have enough of these out there. What's one more? Oh, it must have already been taken. Yeah. So that's fun. All right, I'm just going to create that group. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to spam you and add you. There's Tim. Guess I'll click on him. Amanda. Career. And Green. All right, so there's our group. You'll get a notification that you've been added to the group. You'll pop up over here in my Jennifer practice. And if I email Jennifer's practice, and I send it, send anyway. It will pop up there and we can add other people. So I would definitely play around with it, see how it works when students reply, because again, students who are replying will go to everybody. So you'll have to possibly establish some communication rules like, hey, I'm out sick today, might not be a good group email. I don't know if you can limit what group members can do or not. Let me see. Nope, doesn't look like. Oh, look, I can see what Dan's a member of. That's kind of handy. Doesn't look like I can limit what anybody can do in the group, but again, I'm not too worried. But and then I can simply just delete the group as well. So maintaining that group list, but it's like a distribution list. You know what I don't know is how easy it is to add a student. I wonder if they pop up because they're in Gmail. Can I add someone? Open. Send email. I already did. Oh, look, we can even have a SharePoint, a OneNote. We can edit the group. Student who? Well, Maddie's name didn't pop up, so I'm assuming. Oh, I didn't subscribe you either, but so I don't know if you could just I don't think you can just paste those emails in, so I don't know how efficient that would be, if that makes sense. But you might be able to just add that semicolon list, they're comma delineated, and it might be just fine. Okay, groups. What do we got? Well, we got 7 minutes. Any more questions about groups? All right, out of the last list here, anything in that list that you want me to spend some time on in our last few minutes? Anything about signatures, accessibility? Those of you dealing with Ally and Canvas, accessibility is real. Any organization tools for folders or rules or tasks that might be helpful?
I have a question which might relate to folders, sort of.
Okay.
I have a really hard time searching for emails. Like I can't find them. I mean, are you using folders exclusively? Like, are you just dropping everything in there? When you send an email out, are you CCing yourself? Does that allow you to find it more effectively? Or does anyone else have this problem? Is it just me?
I search in my email all the time, and it doesn't matter if it's in a folder or not.
Okay.
Okay, so can you give me an example for something you might be looking for?
Yeah, so if I search for advisory board meeting spring 2022, it takes me forever to find emails when I'm on the web version, which I use more than I use the other. So I'm wondering, I very rarely use the downloaded version, and perhaps that is my issue, because maybe there's some limits to that.
So I find when I search, I tend to be looking for something from a person, usually. So I'm gonna, did I not send anything to Sarah Albright? I find that hard to believe. Oh shoot, I'm in, let me go to my inbox. That might help. All right, so I'm going to search for Sarah Albright, and I'm going to look for something about transcripts. So I tend to use partial words, not full words all the time. So this is going to usually pretty easily tell me something from Sarah, and then I'm going to look for transcript in the title or in the message. And I feel like the search works pretty well.
Okay.
Okay.
So putting a name in and then the topic.
Well, if I know who it was from, but sometimes we forget who it's from, right? You're like, oh, I thought Jennifer sent that, but then Stacy sent it. If I was looking for advisory board dates, usually it's good at highlighting things. My sort is always by date, just because I probably am looking for more recent. And I never delete an email. I mean, I'm probably lucky if I delete a spam email anymore. So this does really help. I think it also highlights it in the message. If you know there was an attachment, like you're looking for your minutes,
Yeah.
Then change your sort. But again, this is installed, and then look for attachments.
Yeah, you can do that on the web version. I seem to have the most luck with that too.
I think the search is amazing unless I am totally not looking for the right word. So.
Okay, I haven't had that experience. So maybe it is because I'm using the online version.
I don't know.
I'm going to find out.
I guess maybe what I would do is the next time you search for something, try it in one. And, and maybe you have other things in there that are saved, or it's looking like you can search your calendar. It'll actually pull up calendar things. So I don't know if you're in your inbox, maybe you're in a folder. Yeah, see, I'm just like, it's searching current mailbox. I also know in the online one, you have that focused and that whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that I assume a lot of people are not getting email because they're looking at focused and they don't even realize that focus means only you got the email. If I send it to 2 people, that does not show up in my focused email. And I think people, because that looks clean and efficient, are missing all sorts of stuff in that other folder online. At least I hope so. Otherwise, they're not responding to Dr. Menser, and that's just not a good thing.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about how you organize like your folders? Or what I currently do is I have like, I'll make a folder and put like spring student emails. And every time I get a email from a student that spring semester, I drag it in there. That way, if I ever had to like refer back to like, oh, I emailed Amanda on this day and she never, I always like try to like organize them a little bit that way. I don't know if that's because I never delete a student email for sure.
So I have lots of folders. This one has 1,000 in it, actually, that I haven't even read. So if you're going to use folders, I just basically gave up on folders because I struggle knowing, do I put all of Stacy's in there? Do I put HR's in a folder? Do I put individual faculty ones or all of them? Do I go by semester, student? So again, I just left all of mine in one because I just search all the time.
Which I do a lot of searching too. So maybe that's just how I leave it too.
If you're going to use folders, I think you need to figure out some rules to help you to automatically put them in there. Now, maybe you want like a critical folder, like these are things that might come up again, and that could be from Stacy or from a student. Again, I don't delete, so I just let them like archive on their own. I've had to go back 5 years and find a faculty email. So again, I don't delete anything. I realize student emails really kind of have an expiration date because of appeals and things. So if you had do one by semester and then after a year kind of delete the folder, I mean, that does kind of save your inbox. But I have rules for mine to kind of keep my inbox a little more under control. So for class cancellations, I just have a rule that all of these go into that folder. So when I want to see who's out today, they're just all here and I can go in there quickly and I can check that.
So then it doesn't pop up in your main feed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's called a rule. If I have a leave request, I have an absent leave. So I see who's requested some leave. And again, I'm going to get different emails from different places, but I can go here now. I can search by person. And I can say, oh yeah, I got Krista's, kind of a thing.
Okay.
So There are things, but mine are more driven by rules than anything. When I copy myself, I have a rule for myself. So anytime I email a group, I usually include myself just so I have a copy of the email, because I might just resend it in the future. So I have my own folder of just my carbon copies. And if I know I've sent something out about break schedule or whatever, I'm probably going to go here and search in my own folder because it's just limited. If I have vendors where I just get so much stuff from and I'm like, I might want to know, but I don't know. Have you ever created a rule before?
I have not.
Oh, well, let me show you. I'll create a new rule. Who else can I get rid of? All right, I'm going to move this US daily newsletter. I'm going to right click and I'm just going to assign a policy. Oh, can I just do a rule? Oh, sorry, a rule. My first rule is always to move the message to a certain place. That's like a default rule, because a rule just helps you organize. If your students always emailed you with spring 2022 in the message, you could create a rule for spring 2022, and it's automatically going to go in that folder for you. When I taught, I would have students, my advice was always, it's going to take me a couple weeks to know where you belong. Can you put comp 1 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:15? Because then I can answer without looking up what your homework was. But then I would create a rule and put all the 9:15s in that folder.
Okay.
So the rule is simply, I'll just create one from scratch. The rule just says, Outlook, here's what you do when you get an email with this information. It can be from a sender. So in this case, it's always from US daily newsletters. It could just contain something in the subject, like the leave request. That's what my rule is for that one. And then I can tell it what to do. So I'm going to move the item to one of my folders, and it can go to one of my vendor folders. Okay. All I have to do now is actually click OK, and it will say, do you want to run this on your current inbox? And I do. And it will put all of those from USB daily into that folder for me, and I don't have to ever look at them again if I don't want to.
Okay.
Keeps me from having to unsubscribe from something I might want information on, or maybe I just have a day where I can read a few articles. I go to that folder and I find a few, but I don't worry about cleaning it out unless I'm just gonna be like, I'm done for the year, they're all gone, and then I'll come back to it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So rules and folders would go well together, but just kind of think bigger, like what do I want in that folder and why, or am I just dragging and dropping, which is okay too. Good question.
I do have an update on the groups. So
Oh.
you cannot copy the whole generated list from self-service.
Okay.
You have to put them in individually, one by one.
And I
But-
wonder, because they're not a Microsoft client,
Could
if
be.
that's different.
Rochelle, what I do with my student list is at the beginning of the semester, I make a draft with their emails in there. And then I just copy from that draft. So that saves me from having to log into self-service,
Okay, got it.
generate the emails. So that's what I do, and it's worked for me.
Sure.
Perfect.
Because it is a pain when you're like, oh, I got to email them all. And then it's trying to, generate.
Right.
that quickly.
And I don't know if I'm from outside of our Microsoft organization, if I can even join a group. Like, it does make sense for me that it might just be limited to organizational types of things.
Sure.
But well, Jennifer Dutcher must have done it because her spring break or her study abroad tour has students in there.
Oh,
Well, no, I can add the students. I can't copy the whole list. So
One
I'm
at a
adding them
time.
one by one right now, just
Okay.
to see.
Okay. All right. I know we're a little bit over time, but was there anything else on the list that you would like help with today? One of the efficiency tools with email that I struggle with, but I try, is actually only checking email at 2 or 3 specified times during my day. And it's like a meeting. And in that 30 minutes, I read emails, I respond to emails, I shut it off because it interrupts. And then I go back. But you have to schedule the time. Otherwise, what happens? Oh, it's the end of my day. I'm going home, and then emails don't get responded to. So scheduling time to respond to emails might help, especially when people are waiting 3, 4, 5 days. Like I have somebody waiting to approve a purchase order, and I'm like, it's hard. It's hard to keep up in. And when I take vacation and don't check it, it's not fun to come back. I promise. You know that with break, it's not fun. But that scheduled time is supposed to make it more efficient because you're in email mode. You're reading all the ones you've gotten. You check it off list, and then you go to your new task. So even a 15-minute thing every day might help get a grip on it and not miss anything important. So, but I'm preaching there. I'm not practicing, but I'll try.
We can always try.
That's right.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not an expert, but I use it a lot. So if you find something fun for me, let me know.
Sounds good.
All right, I think I got you on the chat. So have a great day. And I'll see you later.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.